double declarations for Moresby North West. Agarobe wins Central Regional. And Dr. Alphonse Gelu says extension must continue.
This is National EMTV News with Mary Bartolo.
A very good evening. Thank you for joining us for Thursday's news. While Sir Mekere Morauta was declared as the member-elect for Moresby North West by Assistant NCD Election Manager Bale Kavanamur, another declaration was being made in a hotel room in Port Moresby. Moresby North West Returning Officer Moka Havara delayed the declaration for Sir Mekere Morauta this morning at the Rita Flynn Counting Centre. However, he later declared Joseph Tonde inside a hotel room, witnessed by several people. An MTV news crew responding to a media conference invitation showed up at the Airways Hotel and were escorted to room 202. Upon entering the room, our reporter and cameraman noticed Mr. Havara and Northwest candidate Joseph Tonde. In this exclusive footage, you are about to see Returning Officer for Moresby North West, Moka Havara, making a declaration for Moresby North West candidate Joseph Tonde.
I feel that because of the third candidate's paper was given as the winning candidate, I have to declare that third one as a winning candidate for Moresby North West. And the candidate by the name Mr. Joe L. Tonde.
Display me genuine. Now display me genuine returning officer, blow Port Moresby North West electorate. Now display reads genuine. Now narabla why only been signing blow site here. Minoting genuine.
Earlier, NCD Assistant Election Manager Bale Kavanamur, believed to be acting under directives from the Electoral Commissioner, declared Sir Mekere Morauta as the member-elect for Moresby North West. Sir Mekere polled 14,007 votes after exclusion 39 to win the race for Moresby North West. His declaration was witnessed by his wife, Lady Rosalind, electoral officials and guests. Sir Mekere strongly emphasized on introducing prudent and effective government systems to resuscitate Papua New Guinea's economy. Independent candidate Robert Agarobe is governor-elect for Central Province. We'll come to that story a little later. Pangu Party leader Sam Basil was in Madang to witness the declaration for Sumkar's member-elect Chris Nangoi, who is also the first Pangu candidate to be declared in the province. Basil is anticipating two more Pangu Party declarations for Madang Open and Madang Regional. He is in town to witness the declaration of his Madang Open candidate Brian Kramer this evening.
Pangu Party leader Sam Basil yesterday flew in from Goroka to witness the declaration and to meet three of his Pangu candidates in Madang. In a press conference held yesterday afternoon, Madang Open candidate Brian Kramer explains the Eastern Camp is a decision made by the party leader to focus on the Eastern Corridor. The Eastern Corridor is made up of Eastern Highlands, Chimbu and Jiwaka provinces.
And these three provinces are strategic in the members from those two, we believe, to make up the next government. And in the next 3 days, we have party leaders of Gary Juffa, People's Movement for Change, PNG Party, Belda Nama, who has also made a commitment to fly in, Alan Marat for Melanesian Liberal, member for Rabaul. So we expect in the next 3 days for major leaders of the major parties to travel up to Goroka. And when we initiate discussions in terms of how we expect to form the next government.
Pangu Party is hoping to get 11 candidates. The party believes the 11th candidate will be declared on the 11th hour will be Jerry Singarok for the Madang Regional. Kramer says given his military experience, this country will need someone of his caliber to bring the country back in terms of discipline and where laws of this country are concerned. Meanwhile, the Pangu Party leader Sam Basil says the Eastern Camp in Goroka is not a Pangu camp as it is mentioned many times, but it is an open camp for any political parties and like-minded politicians who will be declared, and is inviting candidates, especially independent candidates, to join. Mata Luis, National EMTV News, Madang.
The Declaration of National Alliance's Alan Bird sees him as the third governor of East Sepik Province, taking over from Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, who has been the regional MP for over 40 years. Bird has contested the same seat in the 2002 and 2012 national elections, but always finished in second spot. He was declared at 12 p.m. today after collecting 80,929 votes, with his declaration also completing the election process for East Sepik Province. Another National Alliance candidate, Peter Isoamo from the Kairukuhiri, has retained his seat after the 25th elimination this afternoon. Isoamo polled 20,589 votes, exceeding the absolute majority mark of 18,011. Former member and PNC's Paru Aihi finished second with 15,472 votes. Isoamo was escorted into the counting venue by National Alliance party leader Patrick Pruaich, where he signed his declaration form.
But my dear people of Kairukuhiri, thank you very much for having the trust and confidence in me as your leader by your mandate that got me duly elected today. I commit to doing the best I can again in the next 5 years to ensuring the much needed goods and services do reach our rural population.
Independent candidate Robert Agarobe is governor-elect for Central Province. Mr. Agarobe ousted sitting governor and People's National Congress Kila Hauda in the 25th elimination. Mr. Agarobe was declared just after 3 p.m. this afternoon by Central Province election manager Kila Egaba.
The newly declared governor-elect for Central Province, Robert Agarobe, arrived at the Ben Moide Soldiers Club inside the Murray Barracks. There to witness his declaration was the Central Province Election Steering Committee Chairman and Provincial Administrator Gay Raga and the Central Province Election Manager Kila Egaba.
I, Kila Egaba, being the duly appointed for the Central Regional Seat Electorate, hereby certify that Robert Agarobe has been duly elected member of the National Parliament.
After candidate Rufina Peters' ballot papers were distributed, Mr. Agarobe pooled a total of 47,383 votes. He passed the absolute majority of 42,146. Outgoing Governor Kila Hauda finished up in second place with a total of 37,907 votes. In his first speech as governor-elect for Central Province, Mr. Agarobe acknowledged the other 26 candidates and the Central people. He pledged to do his best in office.
One request that I've got for my people in Central Province, I don't want my people in Central Province to make judgment too quick. If you're going to judge me, I want you to all judge me in the next 5 years. I've got a lot of work to do as the governor and the CEO of Central Province. The decisions that I'm going to make and the decisions that I make are definitely in the interest of Central Province. And like I said, we've got a whole job ahead of us, and I need everybody's help to deliver in the next 5 years.
When asked if he had been approached by any political parties, Mr. Agarobe said parties had shown interest. However, the governor-elect said he knows what he wants, and any decision he makes will be in the best interest of the people of the Central Province. Deli Waigeno, National EMTV News.
In news just in, riots have broken out in Mount Hagen with at least one building set on fire this afternoon. Police fired shots to disperse looters who have taken advantage of the election unrest over the course of this week. Reports from Hagen say the Brian Bell shop in the center of town has also been looted. We will bring you more updates as they become available. Election analyst and registrar of political parties and candidates Dr. Alphonse Gelu says the Electoral Commissioner should consider another extension of the return of writs. With the return of writs less than 24 hours away, 33 seats are yet to be declared. Gelu says the option of going for a supplementary election is a costly exercise and will not be fair on the voters of the remaining 33 seats.
From our understanding of the process itself, there are two options. The first option is that they will return the writs and then to declare all those other seats failed and they will go into supplementary elections after that. The second option, and that is something that, like for us, we all understand that the time for a parliament, there is a time frame for a parliament to be in office. And when it comes to the end of the term, then that's when the parliament should go, and a new parliament will start off from there. But again, if you look at the national interest, again, we have to take this one into account. If about 30 seats are still remaining to be declared, then obviously I think the electoral commissioner should ask the head of state to extend the return of writs, maybe for another week, which would allow all the seats to be declared, and then for Parliament to sit. If you look at that process, if there is a legal interpretation of that, then I don't know whether that legal interpretation basically would serve the interest of our people.
The People's National Congress last night announced a new coalition to form the next government. Leaders of the People's Progress Party, United Resource Party and the Social Democratic Party met with PNC leader Peter O'Neill in Port Moresby to affirm their support for the next government. The four parties collectively have 33 members, with PNC and SDP candidates leading counts in Moresby North East and NCD Regional. Meanwhile, there are indications the Highlands arm of the PPP is leaning towards the decision announced by Sir Julius Chan and the PNC coalition members. PPP Highlands Region Deputy Leader and Kainantu's member-elect Johnson Tuke said this morning consent had been sought from party members to join a PNC-led coalition. Here with National EMTV News, we'll have more election updates when we return. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National EMTV News. Candidates from the Western Highlands regional seat are complaining of the bypassing of quality checks before the elimination process. These candidates are currently running second and fourth. They are Wairapa and Tom Olga, including three others. They are appealing to the Provincial Returning Officer, Gabriel Kiap, to stop the elimination and recount the boxes or do quality checks before eliminations commence. However, the Provincial Returning Officer says he will not listen to any candidate as time is quickly catching up. There were no quality checks done before going into the elimination process, and these candidates are concerned the electoral process might be hijacked because of the Provincial Returning Officer's decision.
This has been hijacked. And there's something sincere that is going on, and it's not, as candidates, we're really concerned about what's happening. We would be happy the election process is being followed by our good election officials and our security forces there. It doesn't matter we finish 1 week late, but as a matter of law and process, due process, we must follow the due process. And, our good public servants and election officers, electoral commission agents, must be able and seem to be doing the right thing by processing the electoral process.
Papers in the boxes does not match with the figures. So whatever figure goes up to the board can't be changed by anybody. When the figure's up, that means that ballot paper has to be in the box. But yesterday, there was a confusion on this. And also, our figures does not match now. The counting officials has demanded our secretaries and everybody to bring their own figures so that we can balance it up.
Let's now take a look at the number of seats declared so far for the next parliament. 78 seats have been declared around the country. The numbers according to the political parties. The People's National Congress now have 25 declared MPs after the declarations of Robert Atiafa for Hanganofi Open and Wesley Nukundi for Day Open. The National Alliance Party has 13 declared members following the latest declaration of Peter Isoaimo for Kairukuhiri Open. Pangu Party has 8 members declared. The People's Progress Party have 5 members declared. The Independents' total stands at 9. And for the other major parties, a total up to 18. They are shown on the white bar at the end of your screen. And we take a look at counting from around the country, and we begin in the National Capital District. For NCD Regional, after exclusion 20, Poes Pakop is in the lead 40,015. ahead of Andy Bauer 19,709, Michael Kandiu 17,103. To counting for Moresby North East after elimination 31, Labi Amayu 8,598, John Kaupa 7,791 and Rumald 7,161. To counting in the Madang province and for the Madang regional seat. Two results from Madang Open, and after exclusion 22, Brian Kremer is in the lead 18,657. Sitting MP Nixon Duban is second 11,797 and Buka Malai 4,656. Now we expect a declaration for Madang Open very shortly. Over to West Sepik province and for the West Sepik regional seat after elimination 10. Tony Wowo is in the lead 13,758, Amkat Mai 12,986, Simon Solo 10,352. To Eastern Highlands province and for the Okapa Open after exclusion 24, Saki Soloma 13,407, Ray William 9,082, Ambrose Kuseli 4,724 and exclusions were supposed to commence this afternoon. To the Southern Highlands province and for the Southern Highlands regional seat after count 460, William Powie 91,703, Joseph Kobol 60,131, Jerry Kiwai 40,270. To counting for Imbongo Open after the 9th exclusion, Francis Awesa 14,930, Pilan Ningi 14,179, Lawrence Nali 8,595. To counting for Kagua Erave Open, James Lagea 7,580, Joel Raitano 7,000, Mainopano 6,693. To counting for Mendi Open, Michael Nali 17,618, Dekewano 15,652, Isaac Joseph 14,492. To counting for Nipa Kutubu Open, Jeffrey Komal 17,324, Philemon Embel 16,134, Luke Akop 11,425. Four candidates in the Moresby regional count have been excluded as eliminations began today. After the fourth exclusion, Pangu Party's Ginson Sano is still leading the way, followed by United Party's Luther Wenge, Independent Kemas Tomala and incumbent Kasiga Kelly Naro. Now we take a look at the party graphics again with the number of declarations so far. As of 6 p.m., 78 declarations have been made. Of these, 25 are for the People's National Congress, 13 for the National Alliance, 8 for Pangu Party, 5 for the People's Progress Party, 9 for Independents, and 18 the total for the other parties combined. And we take a look at the finance news now. The kina closed unchanged at $0.3145 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.307, $0.3807 Australian dollars, $0.2587 euro, and 33.81 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee and copper closed the day higher, while cocoa closed the day lower. Copper closed higher, crude oil is trading lower, while palm oil closed the day lower. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed 97 points higher, the ASX closed 8 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 8 points higher. Here with National EMTV News, we'll have more after these messages. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the news. A man from the Central Province has escaped death with deep cuts to his head after a white Toyota sedan Camry overturned along the Sir John Guy's Drive next to the Waigani traffic lights in the wee hours of this morning here in Port Moresby. The accident happened minutes after a previous accident a few meters away from the scene next to Sir Manasupe building near the Waigani traffic light. He was driving at high speed and lost control of the steer, causing his car to hit the iron pegs on the roadside, forcing it to overturn. The driver has sustained serious injuries. Police managed to rescue him while his accomplices fled. Police say he was a suspect on the run for false pretense involving cash amounting to 10,000 kina from another person. The suspect was brought in for questioning to confirm his identity before charges could be laid. Turning overseas now, Indonesia is adopting shoot-to-kill tactics against drug dealers who resist arrest. Officials believe the country now has the biggest illicit drug market in the world, partly because of the crackdown in the Philippines. So Indonesia is taking a leaf out of its neighbour's playbook.
Police vision shows the moment of arrest. Face down with nowhere to run, in North Sumatra they're caught with 45 kilograms of methamphetamine. Now, police have the Indonesian president's blessing to follow the lead by the Philippines government in taking out drug offenders who resist arrest.
Just shoot them. Don't give them mercy, because we are in a narcotics emergency now.
An emergency order already actioned. In July, a Taiwanese man was shot dead as a ton of methamphetamine was seized.
We will be firm and harsh, especially towards foreign perpetrators. It means if they fight back, we shoot them.
Shoot on arrest or execute later. Indonesia's anti-drug boss wants the death penalty used more often.
Why did drug-related crimes grow? Because they thought the punishment wasn't severe.
More than 7,000 suspected drug offenders have been killed by police and vigilantes in the Philippines since President Duterte's war on drugs began. Indonesia says it's deepening its crisis.
The networks in the Philippines are all being moved to Indonesia.
And he says he wasn't joking about a crocodile-guarded prison island for drug convicts.
Crocodiles are one option. Could be piranhas or tigers. We can't solve the problem using normal methods.
But the drug chief admits one of the biggest challenges he faces is corrupt officials, hungry for financial gain and allowing drug syndicates to flourish.
The problem is incredible. Indonesia is the biggest market in the world, in my opinion.
Which must mean each raid and arrest is just a tiny step forward.
United States President Donald Trump has reinstated a ban on transgender individuals from serving in the Defense Force. It's a U-turn from his campaign promise to support LGBT communities, saying trans people will cost the military a tremendous amount and create disruption.
As a candidate, Donald Trump promised to protect gay, lesbian, and transgender rights. The first nominee ever to make such a promise at a Republican convention.
As your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology.
But today, a sudden reversal. Please be advised, he declared, the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruptions that transgender in the military would entail. The Pentagon directed all questions to the White House, making it clear the change came from the president himself. We will continue to work closely with the White House to address the new guidance provided by the Commander-in-Chief. But the White House couldn't provide answers to the most basic questions.
What happens to transgender service members now? Are they immediately thrown out of the military?
That's something that the Department of Defense and the White House will have to work together as implementation takes place and is done so lawfully.
A study commissioned last year by the Pentagon estimates there are roughly 2,500 transgender service members on active duty. The new policy and how it was announced was quickly criticized by fellow Republicans in Congress.
I want a strong, vibrant military, but I want to be fair, and the best way to do this is have a hearing, not a tweet.
The British government says it plans to ban new petrol and diesel vehicles from the UK from 2040 in a bid to tackle pollution. It follows a growing trend from other European countries and a shift towards electric vehicles from manufacturers. But some are calling it ambitious, while others say the target is too late.
On the worst days, the pollution hangs like a mist over our cities. The gases and particles cause asthma and heart trouble, maybe dementia. And there's evidence that dirty air shortens lives, linked to an estimated 40,000 premature deaths in Britain every year. And the biggest source of pollution is diesel engines, and we have millions of them. So the government has a vision for a future where all our cars will be electric. Norway will do this by 2025, France by 2040. And that's the year the government here has set to move away from conventional engines.
We have to get rid of petrol and diesel cars off our roads if we're going to make sure not only that we deal with the health problems that air pollution causes, but also that we meet our climate change targets. And the good news is that the car industry is already moving in this direction.
So is electric power the answer? Volvo has declared it'll go electric from 2019. Other car makers also have plans. But the boss of Aston Martin says the government hasn't thought through the implications.
If you don't have the infrastructure, if you don't have the skills, if you don't have the wherewithal to pay for it, then as a statement or as a policy, it's absurd.
And an environmental group that launched legal action says the Environment Secretary still isn't doing enough.
We're very disappointed with this plan. It's unambitious and it's not going to fix the problem quickly and urgently.
You can't always see air pollution, but politicians can't avoid it. The government says it is responding, but it doesn't want to offend motorists. The result? A signal of real change, but not for a while.
Here with National EMTV News. When we come back, some sporting updates in Trukai Sports. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. We begin with Aussie rules, and after months of hard training for both the men's and women's squads, the final teams for the Mosquitoes and Flames are now ready for the 2017 International Cup title. Senior Operations Manager Rex Leka says selecting the final team was a very tough decision.
National AFL teams, the PNG Mosquitoes and Flames, are in their final stages of training before departing for Australia this weekend. Senior Operations Manager Rex Leka says both teams will have to play their best, especially the women's team, after missing out in the 2014 ICT tournament.
The 5th will be the opening ceremony to kick off the International Cup. We haven't had much time to take the team down to maybe at least 2 weeks prior to it. It all came down to the financial side of it, to accommodate both teams down there. It's just straight down there, straight into the game, win the cup and come back up here.
PNG Mosquitoes will have to defend their win for the International Cup title.
For the men, the expectations are very high. As defending champions, they'll be going there with a lot of weight on their shoulders. One, they'll be leaving back the boys that missed out on the final selections. Back home, their families, friends and the country itself. To defend the cup, it's a very big ask. There hasn't been one country winning a back-to-back International Cup. It's only been between New Zealand, Ireland and PNG. PNG, we're trying to make it the first country to do a back-to-back win on this cup.
The Mosquitoes' first stop will be Brisbane, where a friendly match will take place between PNG and Nauru in Gold Coast. PNG Flames will leave the country on Friday next week and travelling via Brisbane to Melbourne, where the International Cup title will take place.
For the women's, they're up against they've got USA and Ireland in the side. But our girls will be running the ball on the ground, just play mind game, try to keep the ball low. We have a lot of speed in the young girls here, so yeah, we'll see how they go. For the boys, we've got Ireland, South Africa, Nauru and USA as well. It's a very strong pool. There's only 2 pools for the men's.
Godwin Eki, National EMTV Sports.
A 24-hour-long marathon will be held along the Kokoda track on the 9th and 10th of September. The marathon is part of the Fuzzy-Wuzzy Kokoda track's 75th anniversary.
They are still yet to decide where the race will begin and where it will end.
Endurance marathon is 24 hours. Either way, if you come from Kokoda coming this way, it's 16 hours. That's the record. And from here going back, it's 17 hours. And it's been held by a young lad from Kokoda. His name is Brendan Buka, and he still holds that title.
The marathon will test a runner's endurance all throughout the race, having to run up mountains and on uneven grounds. Endurance marathon organizer Alphonse Gelu has recommended long-distance athletes to take part.
If you're a triathlon, you do a lot of endurance, long-distance running, 1,500, 2,000, steeplechase. I think steeplechase will be ideal because there's a lot of hills that you have to jump over and trees that you have to climb under and whatnot. So it would be ideal if you have some athletic background.
A helicopter will be on the lookout for runners who cannot continue the race.
Wherever you run to and wherever you stop, you walk to the nearest village, the helicopter will pick you up on the way back. You will not be stranded. 24-hour challenge from the 9th to the 10th. But by the 10th, don't worry, wherever you are, get to the closest helipad and we'll pick you up. We've also catered for the helicopter to do that. And we've also catered for the insurance cover. For the PNT runners, our international runners, they always have cover when they come here.
The marathon hopes to attract many participants from around Port Moresby and other provinces. Prize money will be given to the first, second and third runner.
First 3 runners for male, first 3 runners for female will be given a prize money, and you're looking at 8,000 for the first runners, for male and female, 4,000 for the second place, and the third place will be given 2,000 kina.
Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Don't go anywhere. Trukai Sports continues after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The New Zealand Warriors have a tough assignment ahead as they face 2016 NRL Premiers, the Cronulla Sharks. The Sharks will be searching for a win in order to finish in the top 4 to defend their title. Manu Brown replaces James Maloney in the 5/8 position due to a hand injury. James Seguero starts at hooker, while coach Shane Flanagan welcomes back Jack Bird in the centres. The match will be played tomorrow night at Mount Smart Stadium in New Zealand. From police officers to college basketball players, people cannot resist taking part in the latest online challenge sweeping the US, the Drive-By Dunk Challenge. The challenge involves people driving around a neighborhood, getting out of a car and slam dunking a ball into someone's outdoor basketball hoop. Young basketball stars Grayson Allen and Trayvon Duval of Duke University and Terrence Mann of Florida State University have been the latest big names to take part. Such challenges have grown quickly online following the spread of the Ice Bucket Challenge and Mannequin Challenge in recent years. And that ends Trukai Sports. Up next, you are the details for Friday.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Here's a look at the weather for Friday in the southern region. Fine, although some rain expected in Port Moresby. Fine and cloudy for Daru. Some rain expected in Kerma. Rain, then fine for Alota. Thundery rain in Popadeta. To the Momasa region, rain and showers expected in Lei, Wau and Madang. Partly cloudy for Wewak. Rain and showers in Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, thundery showers expected in Kavieng, Kimbe and Buka. Rain and showers for Lorengau, Kokopo and Rabaul. In the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundia, Mendi and Wabeg, all these major centres can expect some rain with morning fog.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's a new sports and weather for today, Thursday, the 27th of July, 2017. Stay tuned for Yovo 2017 with Neville Choi and Titi Gabi coming up.